Hey guys, what's up? Eddie Yahoo here with KissAnalog.com. Today we're in the lab with, Kaiweets. They've been good to the channel. They've provided me a bunch of meters. I've given some away. I'm going to give some more away. Some of these meters. But anyway, I just want to show you all these smart meters that Kaiweets has. Now there's another model. It's one of the first ones I got. I believe it was the HT112, and man, I just could not find it. I wanted to put it in this lineup because it'd be over here somewhere. It was a nice little cute little meter, and I think I may have given it to a friend because I actually would carry it around with me, and when I would go to some friend's house or some family members, I would take some measurements and do some things. I'd have a meter around, so it was nice and small. I could just leave it in the car. And I took it to one friend's house several times. I think I ended up leaving it with them. So yeah, anyway, I kind of like that little meter. It's just came with a nice small case. And anyway, they've come a long ways over the last few years or whatever. They've been doing smart meters, and you can kind of see they've got some small ones up to more full-size meters. So the meter down here is a 4,000 count, and this one and this one 6,000 count, and these two are 10,000 counts. And you may remember me reviewing this one, the HT118E, the new 20,000 count meter. Now the price of this one falls kind of in between these two here. So if you like this format, just keep in mind, this is a great option. Now they also still have the A model, the original 6,000 count meter, and that one is, gosh, I think about $10 less than this one. All right, so besides all these smart meters, they also have these pan meters, and this little guy. And I reviewed these in an earlier video, but I just wanted to pull them out just to kind of remind you of all their lineup. I mean, they do all kinds of things. As a matter of fact, they do this little meter, and I think this one might be a 2,000 count meter. I think I'm going to give this one away too. Okay. And then they also have these little socket testers. I'm sure you guys have seen these little socket testers in other brands and that, but Kaiweets has them as well. Now this one, they've actually come out with a newer model than this one. So this one just gives you the lights, tells you if there's a problem or if it's all correct, right? And yeah, so real easy to test. You just plug them in the socket. I recommend having one of these around the house. It's just really nice, especially if you have a house that you buy that wasn't brand new, or even if it was newly built. It'd be good to just check your sockets one time to make sure they're all wired correctly. So now, there's a newer version of this, which is really nice. Come on, Kaiweets, how come you haven't sent that one to me? But it has a display, and it actually tells you the voltage, 120 volts, for instance. It'll tell you the leakage current through the ground. That's super cool. And I forget what else it tells you, but anyway, it has several things on the display. So, but this is very inexpensive, and they do have a kit, as a matter of fact. Here, let me show you that. So they have this kit here, okay? And this kit, just quickly show you that. It comes with the multimeter. Now this is the HT, which one is this one? It's a 4,000 count meter. It's the HT113B. And it comes with the little detector, but it also comes with one of these pen non-contact voltage detectors, which has actually a nice display on it. I mean, how big of a display do you need for one of these things? But instead of just having a light that turns on, it actually has a display. So that's pretty cool. And the tip is actually a flashlight as well. So yeah, that's pretty nice, right? Anyway, now since I'm reminding you of all the cool stuff Kaiweets does, they also make these little hand tools. And they're hand tools. I've left these in the package because I'm eventually going to give these away as well. I've given some of this stuff away, but I'm going to give some more things away. They have this stripper tool that I find really handy. It's kind of an automatic stripper, 10 to 24 gauge. So that's been really nice. And then, you know, the just basic wire stripper that, gosh, it does so many things. It can cut screws down to length. You can see there's a little picture of that, but these things are so handy to put on terminals and everything. You know, you really want to have one of these guys around just as a general purpose tool, right? And by the way, all these tools are fairly inexpensive. And remember, you can get a discount. Use the link down below at the Kaiweets store. It's KA15. And I'll tell you what, they got a hot sale on right now. I think it's on this meter and these 2 meters. So I believe they're giving off, like, I kind of forget what it is. It's like 15% off. But you can still, I tested it, you can still use the KA15 and get additional 15% off. So pretty amazing prices, I think. So, okay. Well, okay, we'll run down prices later, okay? But for right now, what I want to do is, I got this one a little while ago. And I really, well, these 2 meters here, I think these are the 2 of the most recent to their lineups. And they, you know, like I say, they have a hot sale on these things. This is a 601S. This is 601. The difference between these is this guy's rechargeable. Now, some people want to be able to have the option of just throwing batteries in case they're on a job site and they don't have a way to charge. They have batteries around. They can just throw in new batteries. To me, I like rechargeables. Even if I'm on a job site, I can have one of those little battery banks that I have a power cord and charge up my meter or use it with the power cord plugged in, right? So anyway, I prefer that. It is, I think, about $5 more than the non-rechargeable one. So, but now I'm going to show you, I'm going to open up all these meters, but this one also has the plugs on the front of it, like, you know, what we're kind of used to, where this one has the plugs coming into the bottom. God, I have a fluke meter. That was the first meter I ever saw that did that years and years ago. So I bought it. I thought it was kind of cool. And it is actually kind of handy for certain types of measurements. So where they come out the bottom. Anyway, it's a preference thing, I think. And then this one, they come out the bottom. This one's on the face, and this one's out the bottom. We're going to pull them out, take a look at them, okay? But just a quick look at the specs, they looked the same. Now, all right, guys, I just want to show you. Yeah, when I was at the Kaiweets store, I realized, wow, they do a lot of things. And they make this little guy. I got a little screen protector on because I didn't want to scratch it. Wasn't sure if I was going to use it in my lab here, which I think I'm going to after I'm thinking about it. But at one time, I thought I might give it away, so I left this screen protector on. But you know what this guy is? I don't know if it has a backlight. You can see it really well in person, the display, but I noticed in the camera it might not come out that great. Anyway, it's a CO2 detector, and it also tells the temperature and I believe the humidity. So it's kind of nice that it has these little things you can set on the bench. I just thought maybe I'd set it out of the way, and you know, you never know. Maybe it's good to keep track on that CO2 thing, right? But yeah, I just thought it was kind of cool, and it's kind of a unique thing. I didn't, you know, I wouldn't have imagined Kaiweets selling something like that. But they also sell these power supplies up here. I really like those. You can use 2 of them. They're really inexpensive way to get a plus minus voltage supply if you're doing audio work or if you're just doing bench work. You know, they're 10 amp 30 volt supplies, so price is really good on those. They also sell this Womp Tech, which that is a pretty sweet power supply for how small it is. They're programmable buttons, the output on off. I really like that power supply. But anyway, so I just wanted to give you an idea that Kaiweets doesn't just make smart meters. Now, I don't know how they get this stuff. You know, some people say, oh, they don't make it, somebody else does. I don't know. All I know is they offer a lot of different kinds of equipment. And these smart meters, has been something they look like they've really put some effort into, and they've tried to improve them along the way. And like I say, this guy just came out not too long ago, this HT118E. So there's that 118 model I know is sold by under different names, but the Kaiweets seems to be the popular one. Anyway, from what I have heard, whether it's true or not, maybe you guys can tell me, leave the comments below if you know, but what I've heard is that it's the most popular meter sold on Amazon. So I don't know if that's true. The price is really good for what it does, and I mean, for what it does, it's amazing, but especially now that it's 20,000 counts, I think that's just crazy. But these are 10,000 counts, and that's pretty crazy too. And the displays on these are just out of the park. So let's go ahead and open them up and take a look at them, okay? All right, guys, I'm just going to give you a close-up here. And we're going to get a little bit closer, but I just wanted to kind of show you all these cool meters, and the nice hand tools they have. There's the little thing for the AC receptacle. There's that cool CO2 meter. That's pretty handy. 650, I think 700, it's when it goes yellow. This light turns yellow and then turn red at a certain distance. But right now I got a smiley face, so I guess I'm okay. But yeah, so anyway, let's just show you. Now this meter here comes with these testes, okay? I just want to show you the testes for right now. And this meter, this 600Y, they all come with these thermal probes except for the little guy here. But this one has thermal probes and this type of lead. Now you can see, even though this meter, the case is similar in size, it is slightly larger for the KM602, and it comes with these leads. So each one has its own leads. It's really interesting. At first I thought they had the same leads, but when you look closer, they're all this different leads. So 601 has a bigger case, okay? And I got an extra set of batteries. Okay, then the 601S, it's even slightly bigger than this 601 case, just slightly. And again, another style of leads. Now this lead here looked very similar to the first leads down here. I thought, oh, there's two that are the same. But when you look even closer, you'll see that even these are different. This one has a rib right here, and this one doesn't. But other than that, they look very similar. I popped off the caps on this one. But yeah, so they're all very different. I mean, they're all, you know, flexible. They're nice size gauge, so they're big leads. But yeah, a little bit different. All right, guys, just wanted to show you this screwdriver set. Electric screwdriver, really nice. All kinds of bits, all kinds of pieces, little pockets in these little covers that drop down to cover your bits. And also they have different types of testing sets. This one's a big one. There's one a little bit smaller, but you get the standard type that fits in the meter. And then this set will pick up any of these kind of probes. And then you got this one with the little mini grabbers. And then you got the little small alligator guys that you can put on this set here. And you got the larger alligators, of course. And then you've got this PCB, the pincher type. So you got the normal type of leads that you can put on this set. You got a little bit shorter size to put on. Or you got you have all these options of all these little sharp, really sharp probes. And these are nice. I like to use these. I've used several of these on boards before because it's just really nice to be able to reach in when you have something sharp, if you have conformal coat to poke through it. But yeah, these little pin ones here, that's why you got to keep these caps on, because they are sharp. And then this one here, they're flexible from here all the way down here. So part of it's covered with this heat shrink tube. So a nice set of clips, and then of course the big old, clamp-ons, and these are flexible if you haven't used this type before. And then I just want to show you this kit one more time. This is, I don't have the batteries in this one, but it's like a mini HT118. looks just like it, just miniaturized. And then you have this guy here. And yeah, and it comes with this kit here. So that's just a set. Just want to show you what it looked like close up. You can see the size of it. You see it next to the 601S. Okay, guys, so all right, guys, so I just wanted to show you how nice the displays are. Let me see if I can turn off a light. There we go. If I turn them both off, we'll be in the dark, except for all these displays. All right, so I'm going to turn the backlight on this one on. See that backlight? It's actually a pretty bright backlight. Nice, evenly lit. It's a nice display. But just next to all these colored displays, wow. Now, look at the color differences between some of these. There's green and yellow. That's kind of common between those two, right? And then as we move on, there's kind of a blue pointer here. And the yellow is just the current. And then white for the rest of them. Then over here, we're back to the green-yellow color combination. So, and we still have blue and temperature right here. So can you, trying to hold the meter so you can see that better. Now, you know what? Okay, it's kind of funny. I left the film on this. I could take it off, I guess. The film's off on this one, and it's on this one. So these two, I still have the film on. I could peel it off, but they do such a nice job putting the film on that I don't know if it adds much glare. It could in the camera. I leave them on because whenever I decide to give a multimeter away, I like to get it away as pristine as I can. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Should I just peel them off? All right, what I want to do is I want to show you the bar graph on each one of the meters. So I'm going to put in resistor mode. There's voltage, but you don't see the bars. And this scale goes up to 100 if you can see that. So let's go over to resistance. And now it's an OL, you know, so you see all the bars. So it says 100, but it's not 100 segments. It's like probably, I think it's probably 50 segments. Okay. And then over here, let's do the same thing. Okay, now same thing, says 100 up here, but I believe that is another 50. Okay, on this one, okay, I got to reach up here. Okay, and pretty cool bar graph on this. It says 60, and I believe it is 60 segments, so it's actually more than these 2 meters. 60 segments. Then this one has a different function. It's left and right, so you don't have to circle all the way around like you do in the rest of them, okay? So this one, okay, again, 60 segments, and I believe that is 60 segments. And then over here, do we get a bar graph? Yes, we do. And it says 40, and I believe that's true. That is 40 segments. So that's what the bar graphs look like. They're pretty large here where they're placed them in the middle of the screen. I kind of like that, but yeah, just different. So just want to show you the differences between the displays. All right, I was going to talk about accuracy here for a minute, and I plugged in all the temperature probes because if you noticed, without the temperature probes, they didn't quite agree. Now, the accuracy in the manual is plus and minus 3 degrees C. So, and over here I have 22. So I brought out this guy. Check it out. Okay, 23. And then over here it says 23. 23.7. It's weird that on this side of the bench, 23.5, it's just a little bit warmer than over here. I got 23 that last time, but watch, it might go 23. Well, now it's hitting 23. Okay, I was going to talk about accuracy, and you can see the temperature probes. I don't know if you noticed the temperature readings before because it always shows temperature. They were off a little bit from each other. I looked in the manual, and they're plus minus 3 degrees C, or about plus minus 6 degrees F. So over here, 22. Now what I did is I put out this guy just for a quick double check, 22.8 here. So they're easily within the tolerance. And I notice over on this side of the bench, it's just slightly warmer for some reason. But 23 point, so maybe that's why this was 23. I don't know. But so it seems like the temperature's somewhere around 22, 23. This one seems a little bit on the low side. So I was kind of wondering if the bench is just cool there. And it says 22.8. So that's still within the plus minus 3 degrees. So yeah, there we go. That's temperature. Now, these meters here, this one here, I actually misplaced the manual. I'm sure I'm going to find it. I think I have a bucket where I put them all in. But these other ones, I had them in the box still. Anyway, they're all the same. They're all 0.5% accurate, accuracy for DC. So I got it right here. And they're 0.8% for AC and 1% for resistance. Now, you see, there's also the resolution. So you have to look at that. 600 ohm range, you have 0.1 ohm resolution, okay? So there's the thing with resolution as well. Now, one thing I want to point out is resolution on these 10,000 count meters is going to be higher, right? The accuracy is the same, but are you going to get the same readings? No, you're going to get a more accurate reading because of the resolution. So I had somebody try to tell me that I was getting accuracy and resolution mixed up just because high count meters are not more accurate, but they essentially are, because look at this. It's 0.5%, but 100 millivolts, you get 0.01 millivolts. On a 6,000 count meter, you still have the 0.5, but at all the way up to 600 millivolts, you get 0.1 millivolt. 0.01, so it's 10 times the resolution, and you only go up to 100 millivolts versus 600 millivolts. So on this one, the next range is 0.1 up to 1,000 millivolts. But if you go to 6,000 count meter, the next range is 6 volts, and that's essentially 1 millivolt right there, right? So you see what I'm saying? That's why high count meters are so nice, and you get more accurate readings because you have more resolution. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ranges, for instance. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, but the ranges, having that extra range really makes a difference. Now, also, this one will go up to 1,000 volts versus on the 6,000 count, it goes 600. All right, there's one little edit I want to make. On this meter, you have up and down on function, so you can go up or down. And then I said all the rest of them, you have to go around. But I kind of forgot the 601, this new one, also has the back and forth. So that's where it's a little bit different. It's similar. At first, I thought it was very similar to the 601, except for rechargeable batteries in this one. But no, there are some differences as well. All right, so let's go ahead and do the continuity check, okay? So move that guy over to ohms and then continuity. We'll turn on the backlight so you can see a little bit better. All right, so here we go. Now you can hear that. Also, you see the green light going on. It's interesting, the bar graph goes away and it reads you ohms. Now, one thing all these meters have in common is the where they read continuity is approximately 50 ohms. All right, where all these meters have something in common is a continuity basically is somewhere close to 50 ohms and below, okay? Not quite as loud maybe. You still get a green light. Oh, so that's interesting. I had an auto mode. I didn't even try that on the other ones, but yeah, it automatically goes to auto. So that's kind of cool. I mean, but if you want to go faster, it's better to just put it in continuity mode. Yeah, I guess I should have demonstrated that on all of them. It's definitely latching, right? Now, I haven't cleaned these leads. I find that some of these lower cost, leads. So I find that some of these leads do better after you've cleaned them. Okay, this one has kind of a high pitch. This meter does not make a lot of noises. Watch. When I click through, it doesn't make noises. So if you like a meter that's a little less noisy, this 601 is that meter. You hear these other meters have a little lower tone, lower frequency. But you get your green lights on these meters. So here, let me go to manual range. You hear it chirp when I move it. This one doesn't do the chirping. Okay, so that's continuity. They're all, this one's the quietest one. But yeah, there you go. And by the way, pulling out these leads, I'm getting ready for the next test. They all fit in. I find that all the meters, they fit in tightly. So yeah, it's not like some meters where they feel a little bit loosey. I haven't really had too many meters like that. I've had one. Don't even remember which one it was. But yeah, these are all very tight. All right, so I have this stack of high precision resistors that are like 0.05%, and this is the 10 ohm. So I just thought I'd put them in auto mode and just see how fast they go. Let me line it up. Oh wow, look at that. There's first problem right there. Because of how compact these meters are, even though this is a bigger one, they do not fit the standard. Now this one does. Okay, so that 10 ohms dead on, and it was pretty quick, right? So you know what? I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll just jump up to the 100K so you can see how fast it goes. Yeah, pretty fast. So, you know what? And I think because that one was below 50 ohms, it actually gave the buzzer. It actually went to the continuity. So just to test that theory, let's go to 100 ohms. Yep, quiet, silent. So it went to ohms instead of continuity. But the one, because it's 10 ohms, it goes to continuity because it's below the 50 ohm thing. Now let's see if this guy will fit him. Yep, sure does. Oh. I think the because it's off a bit, I think it's more of how they fit in here. I find that I've had a couple meters that they're off just a touch, so I think the contact's not as even. That's why I think it bounced around. Anyway, seems like that's off a little bit. I remember that was what, 1% for resistors, and that's 10K. Where's 100K? Here's 100K. All right, so let me try these other meters, see if the spacing is right. Nope. Okay, did I try this meter? Nope. Yeah, the spacing's off on these other meters. I'm surprised on this one it's off because it's pretty close. But you know what? I guess the meter would have had been wider, because if they would have pulled this one out, they would have had to pull. Yeah, it would have had to been a wider meter. All right, so the reason that might matter to some people is they might use these kind of plugs like I do. I'll use this kind of cord. It's kind of feels like a more shielded cord, and it has these kind of plugs here. So I use that a lot of times on the bench. All right, so you know what? I'm going to use this 10 ohm resistor here, and I'm going to hold the lead just so you can see how these other guys work. That was pretty quick. Now this is the 100K. Okay, I'm going to put it back in auto mode. All right, so let's try this. Whoops, 100K slid off. All right, so let's try. Now remember, it's 1% for resistance. Yeah, fine holding it there. Took a little moment for it to kind of climb up, huh? Okay. Okay, guys, I put the leads back in so we could just measure these resistors. This is the 10 ohm. If I can get it in there. Now it's 1% for these, remember? And again, continuity, because it's below 50 ohms. Okay. Start off the 100K on this one. Wow, that was dead on 100K. Is he going to climb up? Well, yeah, that's not quite the 1%, I don't think. Let's do a 10 ohm on this one. Yep, 1%. Whoops. 100K. Wow, that's dead on too. Is it going to climb? Nope. Okay, so let's try the 10 ohm. All right. It's in continuity. I wonder if ohms would have done a faster job. Okay, we've already done this guy. All right, so I have these meters in diode. We'll try that one last, but let's go ahead and just measure the diode function. 3.5 volts almost. That's going to light up just about every LED, plus it's going to test most diodes. Maybe some, yeah, I think even real high voltage diodes it will. Wow, that one's 3.96, so that's a little bit higher. Okay, 3.5. You know, 3.3 and above, or anything above 3 volts is really good, I think. Okay, that's 3.97. That's pretty high too. Okay, let's see what this one is. And we'll use this guy. Okay, let's go down to, whoops. Oh, I'm in smart mode. That ought to work. 1.84. Yeah, so that one's the lowest. That'll light up. That'll still do most, I think, a lot of high voltage diodes. Usually high voltage diodes are like 1.5, sometimes 2 volts. So yeah, this guy's still not bad. You know, but it is on the low side, right? These are all above 3.3, so that's really great. Now, you know what? Let's also test, whoops, let me go back to diode. Good. It does make the beep sound. I just wanted to make sure it makes the beep sound. Yep, that one does too. That one's quiet. It has that little chirp. Yeah, I think that's just a... No, this one, hold on. I don't hear the beep on this one. Yeah, these two, I don't hear the beep. So that's kind of a bummer. I always like to hear a beep on the diode mode. Because if you get a short diode, it's just nice to beep. Alright, so I always like to test this big old transistor. Kind of an interesting looking transistor. So the base is up here, emitter collector. So basically in a transistor you have 2 diodes, one from base to here, and base to collector, base to emitter. So let's go ahead and check that, and I'll put the positive because I know it's an NPN, so that means positive should make it go, yep, 0.5, 0.5, and if I reverse the leads, should be open. Yeah, so that's how you check the diode or transistor. So positive first, I guess. You hear that little chirp? And reversing, yep, just OL. We'll just do one of them just to go a little quicker. Okay, we'll do the reverse one first. Yep, nothing. Nice beep, nice loud beep. Yeah, if you're in a cube, you might like this guy. Or these, because they're quiet. I think you can turn off the chirp on these other ones too. Alright, let's try this guy. Alright, so yeah, diode function works. Okay, I have this 10 millifarad capacitor. Now, one thing about these meters, the two over here, I think go up to 100 millifarad. This guy goes to 60. So that's pretty big. 100,000 microfarads, 60,000 microfarads. And I believe this one goes to 10,000. Not sure. I don't have the manual for that, so it doesn't go very high, I don't think. So let's go ahead and check this one out first. I'm going to hold that there. And let's see how long it takes. See if it recognizes the capacitor. Well, it's trying to do ohms, so you know what? I'm going to go to capacitors on these guys. Okay, so let's go ahead. I've got this 10 millifarad capacitor. Let's just go ahead and read a big gold cap. And I put them all in capacitor mode. And this 10 millifarad cap, it seems like it takes a little while for meters to get, wow, that went to 1.8. Is it going to go up? Oh, there we go. So it also reads around 9 millifarads. Yep, there we go, 9 millifarads. Okay, short those out. Let's try again. All right. Short them out again. Oh, there it goes. All right. Let's try the next one. Try to hold this down. All right. I'd say they're all taking a similar amount of time. I haven't timed it, but it's several seconds. It's, I don't know, what is it, 5-10 seconds, maybe longer. Now this one, I'm going to hold it just to see if this little guy will read it. Oh, it tried. It might be, I don't know. Yeah, I remember this little guy being a little bit lower. So, anyway, there you go. All right, so this is a really nice KM capacitor. It's aluminum polymer, so really great ESR. It's a 330 microfarad. Let's try this, see how much faster it goes on. Still not small, but okay, that's pretty fast. 27. Okay, let me short them out. My fingers are kind of shorting those leads together, I think. All right. You know what? All right, guys, this is a 330 microfarad. Really nice aluminum polymer from KM. Let me go ahead and try this one. I'm going to try not to touch both leads. Okay, let's go ahead and hold this down. Try not to short out both leads here. That's not the right value. Oh, wait, hold on a sec. There we go. Okay, about 375 almost. Then we short them out and try this guy. All right, pretty close. I'll tell you what the range is on this, or the tolerance is for capacitors pretty soon. 380, well, I guess I should hold it, let it settle in a little bit. 378. I'll tell you the tolerances for capacitors in a moment. $373. Now this is a low ESR cap. I wonder if that makes them go a little bit slower. I don't know. Come on, little guy. Wow, he can do it. All right. Let's try something smaller. This is 68 nanofarad. It's a XY capacitor. I think it's a Y cap. Try to hold that lead there. 69, 69.6 about. Wow. A little small value, they're kind of nailing that. Whoops, slid off. 69, just a little tad lower. $685. And let's try this little guy. He wants to try this one. And 66. Alright guys, capacitance is like 4%. So yeah, and that's typically for capacitance, the tolerance is higher. Alright guys, this is kind of standard with these meters. I don't know about that one, but they're like plus minus 4%, plus 5 digits. And you remember that 5 digits is that last digit. So when you have a 10,000 count, you have that one extra digit you don't have to worry about because you got extra digits. Which is another plus with the high count meters. You know, you got 3 extra decimal points, so that last one, it's always the least precise because it has that digit resolution plus the the tolerance. So yeah, high count meters better. Okay guys, we have the Big Bad X-Tech insulation test. I've got it in this mode here. It's set for 500 volts and we're plugged directly into this little guy here. Okay, so it says it's good for 600 volts, so 500 volts should be fine. Now, let me see. We're going to put in auto mode, see if it can detect what's happening to it. Kind of mean, right? Well, right now, it thinks it's reading ohms out of this. Okay, let's go ahead and apply the volts. Okay, I'm reading 9.8 mega ohms through this, and this meter is reading 529 volts. Alright, so just to verify this thing is still working, it thinks it's reading ohms. It's actually connected to my power supply. I'm going to hit the out button so it turn on. It's 9.8 volts. 9.8 volts. So, yeah, everything's good. I can crank my voltage up. We're up to 13 volts. Yep. Okay. So this one here also says 600 volts. Alright, so let's go ahead and see what it can do. 9.8 meg on the X-Tech and about 530 volts. So everything good so far. Yeah, the meter should have about 10 meg ohms input. That's why we're seeing that close to 10 meg input. Alright, so now we have it connected to my power supply. I'm going to enable it. It's 13 volts. Yep, 13 volts. Alright, next up, this guy. He's also saying 600 volts. Let's test that. $527. He's saying overload. Is he going to give us the impedance? Maybe the impedance is higher. I don't know. But we're reading 527 volts. And by the way, this guy says he put out 525. Alright, so again, connect to the power supply. And he's in auto mode. He's kind of bouncing around looking for something. Let's turn on the output. 13 volts. So auto mode still works and everything's still good. Yes, we're on this one. And this one says 1,000 volts. So let's go ahead and do the 500 first. Yeah, so 528, 9.7 meg over there. Alright, now we're getting up to 1,000 volts. Okay, so we're going right at what this is rated for. Let's hit it. It's overload, so it's not reading it, but this is saying 9.7, so everything's good. Again, we're going to tie it to the power supply, and oh, I already have it enabled. I'm going to turn it off, turn it on. Okay, 12.96, let's crank it up a little bit higher. Okay, I'm 31 on my display, and we're almost 31 here. All right, apologies to these meters. Had to put them on top of each other so I could scoot this guy in. All right, we're going to just go to 1,000 volts, right? Because this one's also rated at 1,000. Let's just do it. Okay, beeping overload, 9.8 over there. Here, I'll go to 500 just to show that it can read the 500. There's 125. Let's do that. Okay, it's saying 135, and we got 135 here. There's 250. Let's go to 500. There's 500. And we're at 529. That's saying 525 over here on the X-Tech. All right, back to the same thing. Got the power supply hooked up, and I'm going to apply the 31 volts. And there we go, 31 volts. Just showing that everything's still working. All right, so I've taken the battery covers off, and starting on the left, 2 tripways. The battery compartment protects the PCB. You can't see the PCB, so if they were to leak, it do less damage that way. They all have metal inserts, so that part's great. And this one is all hard plastic case. It's so lightweight that I think if you drop it, it's not going to hit hard or cause damage. Plus, they don't have sharp corners, if you notice. They're rounded or angled corners on all of them. They all have flashlights. We'll look at the flashlights later. And 4 tripways for this guy. Rechargeable here, rechargeable over here. So we have 3 tripways here. And you can see how the cover goes all the way up the back, kind of providing, you know, second layer protection. A fuse accessible on this one, just a single, because there's only one 10 amp port. And on this one, has the milliamp and the 10 amp, so there's 2 fuses. And by the way, I'm going to show you this, but this is the only one with a kickstand. So it's kind of a hybrid between, you know, the 118 and, you know, that's one thing these smart meters kind of missed, is having a kickstand. So it has kind of a nice kickstand. Okay, so I took the KM601S apart, and as you saw before, the fuses were in here, so they're kept isolated, electrically isolated and everything for the board, and they're also kind of propped up on this little plastic cover, so that's really nice. The other thing is there are deep wells around the edges, like most multimeters, keep the meters, you know, really securely put together. And there's this little boss that pushes down right here in the center of the board, it looks like. The place where the screws is going, these bosses have ribbing. It just looks like very strong. It felt like a very strong housing. And look at all the screws holding the board down. I mean, we got just screws everywhere around the board. Here's our LED for our flashlight. And then our power button right here. And our charging port right here. And this is a connector for the battery, which I'll show you in a moment. So just kind of showing you everything. Here's the, it looks like just one PTC here with some MELF resistors and some, here's a sense resistor probably for the current sense for the milliamps, and then our diode protection for the current. Alright, so there's the chips, the ICs. A tantalum capacitor, which is nice instead of aluminum electrolytic. Looks like a very nice board, right guys? Just kind of letting you look at all the parts and the trace work on the board. If you like to do a board layout, you can see how nicely done this is. Now here's a relay. This is what switches the inputs around instead of having a dial, you know, so this, you got a relay here. And look at all the resistors. This is for the high voltage resistance, I think. Here's another chain of resistors. You can see it actually looks like there's cents, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, there's some nice, I mean, solder work. I mean, they've just done a nice job with this board to me. Okay, so now I want to show you the battery. So I think they did a nice job. There's three screws to hold it on to on the bottom, one on the top. And then look at that. So you got a 4.4 watt hour battery, 3.7 volt. So man, that's, I would say that that's probably a good 10-12 hours or more. 1200 milliamps hour. So let's say if it took 100 milliamps, I mean, that's going to last, you know, 10, 11, maybe even 12 hours. But anyway, yeah, it's nicely done. A little pocket cell. And then it's captured into this. So the battery is kept safely away. That's nice. The other thing I want to point out about the back is you see all these features, all these ridges in the plastic. It makes for this be a very rigid back plate, very strong. Alright guys, took the cover off the KM602, the other new meter, and there's all the silicon buttons. Now the battery on this one, I think the other one is taped down here, this one was taped in here, and that tape is really strong, so I don't want to damage it trying to pull it out, but yeah, it takes up that whole little container there. It looks like about the same size battery that was in there. So I imagine it is same kind of connector. So, and you can see all the features and all the stuff on this one as well. It's a really rigid case here. So here, let's take a look at the board. It looks like a similar chipset, right? A single fuse on this one. Another single PTC. Same kind of surface mount resistor. And the array of you know, resistors here, and then some MELF resistors there, as well as some more MELF resistors up here, and again another tandem cap. So it seems like there's a lot of similarities. Just kind of showing you the board. You can see the buzzer, the LED, the crystal right here. And you can see the barrel where the charger comes in. It comes into this port here and plugs into there. It looks like some voltage regulators and stuff around here. So again, screws, not as many screws. That meter over there is bigger, but I think they need to have a good force because you got your display here. So keep an even force against the display, probably hold it in. And then as far as this clamshell, it's totally, I mean, it drops all the way down the side. So yeah, that's makes for a very strong, rigid case. Alright guys, so I just want to kind of go over the covers with you. This is that rubberized cover that's kind of impregnated, you know, with plastic. So it's hard plastic battery case, but this is kind of a rubber textured plastic. So that way they can have a kickstand, which is really nice, because that's one thing the other smart meters don't have. So that's a nice touch. Now this one, nice smooth, it's like a cell phone, like a large, you know, cell phone today. And then to put it back in the case, I always like to put the buttons up in first. But it fits, they fit really snug. But yeah, so there you go. And it's all rubberized. Okay, now this one, same kind of thing. This one's more of a softer rubber. And there's the case right there. There we go. And they fit nice, you know, they fit nice and snug. I mean, this is soft so you can pull it away. This one's a little tougher, but yeah, they just claps in and snug up really nicely. Same kind of softer rubber on this one. This one feels a little bit tighter. This one has more of the chamfered corners. This one is more rounded. I think that made the case go on a little bit easier on that one. And another just solid plastic case. Alright guys, I dimmed the lights just a little bit because I wanted to show you the flashlight function. Hold that button down. Yep, there's the flashlight right there. And it's kind of hard to tell with all my lights, but you kind of get the point. I mean, if you're, you know, I mean, they are what they are, right? But it's a nice little touch, I think. And let's get this one on. So there's automatic power off on this one, flashlight on this side. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, upstairs and with my lights off, I could shine it across the room. But in here, it seems like there's not much to them. So, yeah, whatever. Okay, turn it off. Select function, flashlight hold, and max min. So, oh, because it has a hold, I think you have to hold this one down a little bit longer. And then you get, this one I think had the brightest of all the flashlights. And I haven't charged these since I pulled them out of their box. So you can't ship lithium batteries. You're not supposed to more than 30% charge. So these guys have been running since yesterday with me goofing off. It's taken me 2 days to do this. You know, it always takes a lot longer on these videos. But yeah, this one's a pretty bright one too. You can kind of see the circle there. Okay, you know, let me see, I think, let me try doing something. Yeah, I wish that when the LEDs would turn on showing you that you had a light on. But I don't see any indication. I think on this little one it does. No. Yeah, so there's the flashlight. I really thought that this one had an indication. Alright, you just can't see it on my shop lights, but that LED's on. It's just dim, but I think it's supposed to kind of, yeah, it's really dim. It's hard to see. But that LED kind of comes on so you can kind of see that your flashlight's on. That's one thing I like to see them do is, I mean, run down the battery faster. Maybe they should have a LED icon on the screen, something to show, because when you put your meter down like this, you don't know you left your LED on. And you know, I'm calling it LED, but I mean the LED flashlight. Okay guys, the NCV, it goes bright red. I think there's a green if it's, yeah, there's green if it's just off, but otherwise red. So oh wow, you get 2 greens and a red, and an H down here. Yeah, I think it's, yeah, I think on this one you have to hold it underneath a little bit towards the LED. Okay, whoops, yikes. Can you see that? The green, red. Alright guys, let me see if I can get this so you can see this one. goes between green and red depending on how close or where you hit it. NCV says right there. Okay, and this one, I kind of forgot to point it out, but if you're looking close, and I haven't taken apart, the NCV antenna, I believe, is right across the top of this one. And I imagine the same thing with this one, but because the display is so large, it's probably on the back side. Alright guys, the other nice thing about the NCV function is that it has a live. So you can just touch one of your probes, that way you don't have to... Whoops, hold on a sec. So you just touch one of your probes. Okay, this is a neutral side. That's the hot side. That's funny, this guy's registering it. Okay, I'm getting a low one on the neutral. I think one sets off the other one, doesn't it? I think they're working in pairs. Yeah, isn't that funny? This one sets off that one. That's interesting. We get the low. Wow, that's funny. Wow. This guy's setting off this guy, that guy's setting off this guy. I was wondering if I can get them all turned on. Got 3 of them. Alright guys, let's try that one more time. I looked at the instructions and it said to put the red probe in. I don't think it really matters which probe. Seems like it works off. It seems like it works the same off either probe. All right, I'll just go ahead and do it. But it seems to me like it works the same off either probe. It's funny that I see the other meters going off before the one I'm actually probing. I think that's hilarious. Now this one does seem to be the most sensitive. It reads neutral and hot. And it really sets off all the other meters. Guys, got them all except for that one. And the little one. Yeah, these 2 little ones seem like they're the most sensitive. Hey guys, so what do you think? Pretty impressive, I think. I mean, I think Kaiweets has been doing a great job with all the hand tools. Oh, I didn't put the hand tools out here. The little pin, pliers and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to give a set of those away, and I'm going to give the meter. I think I'll give the screwdriver away, and the lead set. And I think I might keep this one and this one for a little bit. I don't know, maybe I'll just give them away. But I might keep one, just so I can have one on the bench to compare things to. So maybe I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, but I'm going to pick a bunch of meters to give away, like this meter set up here. And I think I have another one of these. But anyways, we're going to hit 25,000 subs pretty soon. I was hoping it was going to happen early July, and it looks like it's going to probably happen, I don't know, a few weeks from now maybe. But when that happens, I'm going to pick some people. So send an email to me and tell me if you want a meter, if you want one of these meters, or if you want, you know, leads or whatever you want, and I'll put your name in the bucket. Often I don't get a lot of people asking. I give meters away, and probably 1 out of every 3 people that ask get one, maybe. I don't know. It's something like that. I don't get a lot of people asking. But what I'm going to do is I have some members. You can become a member of the channel now. There's a membership button down below. I'm going to give a couple members some meters, and or whatever. If you're a member, tell me what you want, and we'll see. If only one person asks for it, you'll get it. If 3 people ask for it, I only got 3 members, so I've got more Patreons, but not a lot. So Patreons, if you guys want a meter, if you want a screwdriver set, whatever, let me know, and I'll put you at the top of the list. I'm going to come out with a formula that I can, you know, choose someone who's not a Patreon member as well. But I'm going to weigh it towards those people. And yeah, you know, I got to support them, right? I haven't been able to do much to support my members or my Patreons. And like I said, I think I only have 3 members. So really appreciate you guys. 2 thumbs up my members, 2 thumbs up my Patreons. Really appreciate you guys. And 2 thumbs up to Kaiweets. They gave me this shirt along with a little box of some of these meters. But yeah, I give away a lot of what's given to me. So, and sometimes I spend a lot of money on shipping. So one of the things I'm going to do, if you're a member or a patron, I don't care what country you're in, unless it's, you know, something ridiculous. But I've sent a meter for $80 across the across the world before. So unless it's something worse than that, if you're a member or a patron, I'm going to send something to you. But if you win it, I'm going to send it to you. But if you're not, and if I select someone, it has to be in the States, so it's not going to be, so, you know, it's not expensive. You have to be a subscriber. You have to give a thumbs up to the video, and you have to send me an email, okay? And I'm going to send a message to my patrons. I'm trying to figure out how to send messages to my members. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but just in case they're not watching this particular video. So, but I'll do a couple more videos, and so hopefully people will know by then, okay? And yeah, so I'm going to do kind of a big giveaway for my 25,000. That's kind of a big number. I think I just went over 500 videos, so that was pretty cool too. Sorry they've been so long. Believe me, I wish they weren't. It takes me forever to edit and all that, but sometimes to try to get enough content, and then I redo them to try to take out more of my BS and leave more of the content, and it takes me forever to redo videos sometimes, several times, to get that balance where it makes sense. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate everyone. A free way to support the channel is just give a thumbs up to it. You know, use those links below. And by the way, gosh, I keep forgetting, I have Kaiweets has been really nice, and they've given me a 15% off, and I think it's all the time. It doesn't just expire a week after I do a video. So anytime you use the KA15, KISS Analog 15, KA15 at their store, which the link's down below, I tested it with, I put some stuff in a basket before I didn't log on or anything like that, so they didn't know who I was. I chose some stuff that were on their sale, and I put the KA15, and it accepted that as well. Gave an extra 15% off, so that's super cool. So I think that's nice. And you know, now the one thing about these meters is, I usually try to say in the beginning of the video, these are not third-party safety tested, right? These are made for your bench, for class you know, category 2 type stuff, right? Any 115, 220, the stuff that's, you know, fused, protected by breakers and that kind of thing. Stuff on the other side of that panel's class or category 3. Stuff outside's category 4. Generally how I say it. Some people say it's industrial's category 3, but even on the other side of that breaker, between that breaker and my main service entrance, that's still category 3. That's still high energy. It's not high voltage that makes these categories, it's high energy. So it's how much current and, you know, something short circuits, can that fuse open and how much energy is in there. And there's things called arc flash that hopefully none of us ever hear about. We don't have to worry about that. But if you're working in certain environments where there's lots of energy, you can have an arc flash, you can get burned from the from a flash going off from a spark. Transients are not these little menial things that come through our circuit breakers and get to our bench or something, which rarely ever happen, right? It's not that. When you have a transient out in the field, category 4, category 3, they can be more serious because there's a lot of energy behind them. So, yeah, just throwing that out there. Now, so CE is self-certified, means the company tested, and if you trust the company, you trust that self-certification. Kaiweets, you can tell, has put a lot of money into their marketing, these cases, all this stuff. So obviously they don't want to damage their reputation by, you know, cheating or anything. And you can see the quality of the boards and all that stuff. So totally, to me, it looks totally, you know, appropriate for working at the bench, you know, taking the top off of things, probing things, you know, that kind of stuff. So always be careful around electricity, of course, right? But anyway, thanks for watching. Just throw that safety stuff in there. I'm hearing these guys want to time out. It's kind of funny. They're all about the same time. They start all chirping around the same time. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. I got to go to bed.